Well, it's already time to have a look at the month ahead, and it certainly looks like there is some building of all sorts of conflict inside the government, inside the ruling party, and hopefully not inside the country where it's bound to spill out. There's a lot of struggle going on inside the party, which in some senses is not just about people fighting for their slice of the pie, like Mantashe is, but it's also about fighting about ideologies, like Mantashe is as well. We know that it's coal versus other energies and all of those things as far as he's concerned, because he has lots of vested interests in coal, all sorts of things that he's been accused of with regards to coal, and of course, historically, his relationship with that industry means that those types of things are beginning to come up in government, in cabinet, and so on. And as much as that party tries to pull itself back together, it does look like there is an ideological battle going on inside. And the month ahead in South Africa is actually all about ideology. We're just about to see the launch of another political party, as we know, and that, as well as whatever the DA is trying to organize, all these different things are making it all about ideas. Again, we're ahead of the elections. We're still a year ahead of the elections, but everyone's ideas are coming out and coming out into the open. This is a good thing. It is time for South Africa and South Africans to be idealistic about, and this is all about our idealism and making sure some of those amazing ideals that we enshrined in our constitution are actually pursued, as opposed to the government's efforts to change the constitution, kind of reminiscent of the previous government, which did exactly that in the 50s in order to create the kind of regime that they wanted. So we have a lot to talk about, a lot to aim towards in this country, a lot to hope for in this country. And this month, we're really going to see those things start coming out. And so as difficult as everything is, as much as we fight the electricity crisis and everything else, we are going to start seeing the seeds of hope, because people are seeing ideas and ideals come back onto the table. And so it is time to kind of re-engage with politics, even if the government and the party have disillusioned you, because there's so much possibility. And this is ripe now for better ideals and better ideas. It's really so strongly focused around that in the chart this month. Of course, I mentioned the electricity crisis, and the chart mentions that as well, and that's not looking any better. In fact, it's looking to significantly worsen. And as much as the president tries to move things around and make it look like he's dealing with it, he's probably just going to come up with another plan and another plan, but somehow it's back in the spotlight, most likely as whether it's load shedding stages increase or more information about corruption or whatever it is that happens. But it does look like once again it's back on the table. And since a minister of spin doctrine, I should say a minister of electricity, has already been appointed, one does wonder, where next can we go with that? In so many ways, we're not seeing what's going on. That's a theme I've spoken about very often, but it's most often been about secrecy and deception. And while that is still true, what we're also seeing in the charts this month is confusion and vagueness. While that is a hallmark of the current government, it does look like that might have some serious consequences at this time, especially for the president. The president's own chart is very challenged at the moment, and it's very much in his personal life. We often talk about how he plays his cards close to his chest, or he doesn't really do anything. He's weak and ineffectual, all those things we hear about him, all about his inaction. And while all those things may be true, right now the inaction is because of what's going on in his personal life. And maybe a question we should wonder is this president able to separate his personal life from having to get on with his professional life? Because it really seems to be overwhelming him at the time. So the ducking and diving is probably going to take to new levels. We should see him travel out of the country. Well, they don't always tell us when he travels out of the country, do they? But traveling out of the country a bit more than usual, trying to get away from it all probably as well. And then there's the looming crisis of Putin, who may be visiting this country sometime in the near future. And it does look like there's a lot of explaining and interacting and neighbors and partners and all these people that the president has to interact with, not serving him very well. He really, more than ever, just wants to run away and hide, I'm sure. And that's maybe a little bit of the traveling that he is doing that's going on at this time. But it looks like there's a reorganizing of who, what, and who's our allies and who aren't our allies, and all of those things are being reorganized, both in front of and behind the scenes. But it does seem as if the president is going to be held accountable, held answerable to things in some way. From the chart's point of view, because of these crises, he is changing a lot of how he does things. But whether that actually gets out into his professional life, his politics, beyond his personal life, that remains to be seen. And if he can actually spend enough time at home and in the country for that to be seen by us all. While financially things continue to be challenging, there is unexpected improvement and gain during the course of this month. As much as we're not clear on how everything is being spent, it does look like either Treasury is coming up with more or they're securing loans or something like that, but it certainly looks like the cash flow is better than we might expect, and hopefully that's going to go to all the right places rather than just be more money to be siphoned off in all the wrong directions, more money than anyone expected. But it does still look somehow more promising than we perhaps have a right to expect in that regard. And that might also serve our sense of possibility and hope that the last straw is not yet broken. The economy can be rescued. It's really just a question of whether, our constitutional democracy can be rescued. And that is a much bigger question. I have to be frank and say with this chart right now, it's not looking so great for that. This is a chart for, the month of our becoming this country, our 29-year anniversary, and the enormous challenges that is about to bring to us over the course of the next year. It is going to be a tough knuckling down time. And in many ways, the chart this month shows the international community is kind of up to here with everything South Africa does and says. That's going to put a lot more squeeze on investment and everything else. And who knows, might kick the president into action, but most importantly, it'll kick you into action. So make sure you're registered to vote, you're engaging in the new ideas that are going on, and that you're committed to vote, because that's how we'll change the country. Idealism can actually become real. Aries, this is a month of getting things going now that your year is properly underway. It's going to be you at the front, everyone's watching you. You need to take the initiative or show some leadership. Just get on with all the things that have been lined up. Although it is challenging and it seems as if it's not really possible, you don't have everything you need, you don't have the resources, don't panic and don't act impulsively, as much as that's difficult to control as an Aries. It looks like there's lots of people willing to help you and are right there to help you. Most importantly, your team, whether you're part of a team, whether you're leading that team, this is a time to rely on that team. There are also some other teams in life, in personal life. This is a great month for friendship and for spending time with friends. In fact, that's probably where you should be spending a lot of your energy. What you do need to be aware of is that your responses are kind of high and you're easily triggered at the moment. Best to keep silent, zip it up, because it looks like even when you're trying to be discreet or tactful, it's kind of going to come out the wrong way. So this is a month to kind of keep it quiet, but just rely on the strength and support of those around you. Just enjoy the friendship. Don't try and order everyone around or tell them what to do, or those are the kind of feedback you're going to be getting. Just keep that to yourself, receive the help, and the group really works for you. Taurus, there might be a whole bunch of stuff that you have to do rather than you want to do. Obviously, you're going to have to get on with that, but Other than that, where possible, it's a kind of keep to yourself time, especially as your birthday approaches. If it's not yet your birthday, then definitely time to lay low. Usually there's a great big burst of energy right after our birthdays. Things really start picking up. Then we can get the year in action. While that is true, just seems to be a bit of a low period for you. This is a good time to be doing some of that unfinished business, tying up loose ends, finishing things off, looking at what you might have been ignoring or forgetting about, or perhaps even sweeping under the carpet, and really just getting it together to get all that done. If possible, to do that before your birthday, if your birthday is later in the month. Otherwise, just to get it done slowly but surely and methodically. It's really time to get rid of a lot of old baggage so that you can move forward. Secrets might come to haunt you, or other people's secrets might be coming out. So in this process of cleansing out, it's also time to get rid of the old baggage of what we haven't been talking about, what we should have been talking about, what really stands between you and loved ones as unspoken stuff. Now's the time to get rid of the past. Geminis, a lot is coming together for you, and you can get a lot of your goals done this month, but it's not going to be able to do it alone. You are going to have to rely on some other people, and these might be people that you're not used to relying on. So you need to go slowly and more carefully. Don't be hasty. Don't automatically assume that everyone's got your best interests at heart or that they're on the same page as you, because that just isn't always the case. This is one of those times where you need very different people, you need different kinds of input, but that makes it all the more important that you're vigilant and careful to see that that is really working for you. That also means you might need to take charge and make it very clear what you need, and things will then really work well for you. There's some unseen obstacles or unaddressed obstacles that you actually know about that you've been pushing aside. Those also need to be brought up and brought out of the way as well, like old stuff standing in the way. In your personal life, things are looking great. There's new friends going on and some new challenges that come from the people around you. Same story applies to your personal life as well. Just make sure you're vigilant and aware of how the new people are and how they affect things. But it's great for new input, new ideas, new stimulation, new places to go with new people. Could be a fun time, Geminis. And Syrians, you're going to need to go carefully in a lot of things this month, starting off with finances. It does look like while things are okay, you're feeling very challenged, and you're actually going to need to be careful. The challenge here is you, not so much the money coming in, but how you're spending that money. So this is a great opportunity to maybe redo a budget, just go through. You need to gain some sense of confidence and control over your financial life, which seems to be slipping through your fingers a little bit at the moment. So you need to actually curb the spending, tie up all the holes in your pockets, and gain control again of your financial life. It also looks like there's lots of opportunities for new sources of income, and that might also be a great way to get on top of your financial life. You're relying too heavily on things that have come from the past, on old familiar ways of doing things, and while there's nothing so much wrong with those ways, it's the new stuff that's going to bring new money into your life at the moment. Can also be new people who are going to be bringing new opportunities to make money into your life at the moment. So this is a great opportunity to reach out, to connect with different people, and to make new friends, because it looks like friends are opening doors for you in the month of May. Looks like people are making all sorts of connections all around you. Leo, you are no exception to that rule. There do seem to be new people, new friends, and new associates going on, which is lovely, and you love people. But that doesn't mean that you can automatically assume that they have your interests at heart, or even that you can trust them. This is not a veiled threat to say don't trust them. We just don't know. So it just means go carefully, just make sure you're kind of checking out who can you be sure of. This is especially true for people around you. For some Leos, that means your neighbors, and might mean that you're going to have trouble with your neighbors this month. But for many Leos, that also means it's in your working environment. And those neighbors are other people that you work with, other people in your working environment. Again, there's great new things beginning, and there's a few untrustworthy things happening, and it's your month to sort out the difference between the two. It's just, if you're going carefully, things are going to work for you, because there's lots of new things beginning. This is a great time to implement new ideas, to stretch yourself and start new projects, to do even slightly risky things. Let's call them calculated risks, where you know that this could be crazy and maybe nothing will happen of it. Something great is going to come out of it. Do the crazy stuff, but come up with it yourself. Don't let other people influence you. Virgos, it's time to start reaching for the big ideas. Some long-held ideals, some plans you might have had ages ago that you've practically forgotten about. Now's the time to get them out, dust them off, and get the show on the road, because it really looks like you can make things happen, you can make new things happen, and you can make things happen that everyone thinks, maybe including yourself, that the odds are against you. Well, even if the odds are against you, something is working right, because unexpected things are going to happen. If you keep an open mind, maybe the results aren't going to be exactly what you wanted, but don't let that be a reason to stop you, because there's great results to happen, which will somehow further your path and give you new opportunities. This is also going to bring new people into your life, and is going to bring something back onto your plate that you might have forgotten about or put aside. Things have changed. Things are a little bit different. In the past, you might have chosen not to follow something up, or it might have been impossible to do so. This is the time you're going to be able to follow it up. So it takes a little bit of courage, feels like a little bit of a risk, but go for it. Things are going to develop in ways that you don't expect. You're going to have gains in ways that you don't expect, and you're going to be able to build some kind of foundation for future paths, for future successes out of this project that develops this month. Go for it. You know, Libra, we often speak about your creative side, your kind of universal creativity, where everything seems to work for you, which is true, but you might be feeling it's just not there at this time. You might be feeling a little either drained, worn out, burnt out from the creative side. You just might be feeling that the creative juices are not flowing and you can't get things to happen. Do not despair. Sometimes that's got to happen. You kind of need to allow yourself and your creativity to get fertile again. So pull back a little bit. You've probably been overdoing it or pushing yourself too hard. You may still be full of new ideas. I mean, the zodiac this month seems to be full of all sorts of new ideas for everyone, which is great, and make a note of them. But what's much more important at this time is to catch yourself, slow yourself down. Don't allow your kind of everything to be happening all at the same time, which it seems to be, because that's what's creating the creative burnout. And just refocus your energy on, what do I care about and what am I not looking at? Because it does seem, Librans, as if there's something going on, probably in your personal life, that you're just not paying attention to, and which could be a little bit of a problem further on down the line. So take the time off to deal with stuff that's happening in your personal life. Get your own heart strong again, and then your creative output will follow. Scorpios, you could also be feeling a little bit burnt out or flat, or just things aren't quite right, and maybe a little bit of withdrawing is also a great idea for you. This is a good opportunity to take a bit of a stock check on how you feel, how your health is operating. Both your mental health and your physical health looks like it's been taking strain, and this could be coming out in a few health-related issues. So it's a great opportunity just to do the check-up, the clean-up, get back on top of your body and get back on top of your energy levels. You might find that in your environment with people around you, you're feeling a little bit edgy or short or something like that. That's a great sign that you need to be spending more time alone. On the other hand, there also seem to be some great supportive friends around you at this time. You don't need to be proving anything. You don't need to show your strength. They all know that it's there, and it's your right and your kind of duty to yourself to take a little bit of time to yourself. Of course, not unexpectedly, there is a possibility for some kind of conflict or argument or those kind of things at this time. not a good time. You're not going to come out on top. You're just going to make things a little bit worse. So keep to yourself, keep to people that you love, who you don't need to prove anything to. Next month's going to be a lot better. Sagittarius, this is a warm and yummy people month for you. Looks like your relationships are providing everything you need at this time. Existing relationships, especially romantic ones, bring a lot of gain and benefit into your life. I'm also saying this is a great time for your partner, whatever sign they may be, but certainly for you to benefit from a happy partner, a happy space, and things that benefit both of you. For those who are not partnered, this might be a time when you meet new people. Hopefully something can turn into romance, but new friends and all sorts of new people and acquaintances, all kinds, are going to be bringing gains into your life at the moment. If only you've got time for that, because it does look like there's also opportunities for professional gain this time, especially those of you who are in the entertainment industries or anywhere where you get to be where you get to show your artistic side more. These are really benefiting from all the good vibes that are going on in the zodiac sign of Sagittarius at the moment. Also need to take a few serious professional goals up and pursue those as well, because those are going to advance at this time. So don't be distracted by all the people. Make sure that you need to do what you need to do and then sit back and lap it all up. Capricorn, this is a month to walk the middle path. It sounds very easy, but it's easier said than done, because you might be tempted to take the initiative, to act with leadership, all those things that you do quite well when you do them. Well, this is a time when you need to be diplomatic, and you need to make sure you're paying attention to all the different input that you're getting from all the different people. It's kind of not a in-between month, as if nothing is happening, but it's one of those quiet progress months where nothing is really obvious. You just got to put your head down, carry on with what you're doing, but be aware that you need to deal with people who are going to need you to be a bit more diplomatic and a little bit more aware of things that are done differently. That is really one of your challenges in any people or other environments that are not your own. Things are being done differently, and you need to be a little bit sensitive to that. Capricorns, it's a great month for traveling. It's a great month for visiting, connecting with people, and connecting with people from your past. So spend some time on yourself that way while you kind of keep your head down and get on with your goals in a way that doesn't cause too much of a ripple around you. You're going to end up by the month of June still ahead of yourself, still doing well. Just keep it up. Aquarius, you need to break away from the routine that you've been in for quite some time. While it has been working for you, and indeed it's going to continue working for you even during the month of May, you're going to need some fresh input. It does look as if you're getting a little bit moribund, a little bit stuck in your track of being a little bit too aligned, too complacent on how things have been working for you, and you're gradually going to start getting more frustrated about that. On the other hand, there's lots of new people around and new input. You just got to kind of step down a little bit from your stubborn ways to allow that to happen. You have the greatest ideas, there's no doubt about them, but you do tend to get a bit stuck on your way of doing things or your way of going about it. So this is a time to allow some of that fresh input in. Hey, it could be a great month to travel, to bring new kind of knowledge and new input and new stimulation into your life. New people from new places is what's really going to shake things up a little bit. You also need to realize that you've kind of lost some of your power to others by being so predictably stuck in your ways. You're losing out on things which actually are available to you and help which wants to come your way. So break it down, allow it all in, expose yourself to new things, and you're going to get new results. Pisces, finally, all the doors are opening, the road is clear, and off you go. This is really a month of getting it together, achieving your goals, getting the results of whatever you put your energies into, which all sounds great. But remember, of course, Pisces, that one of your big challenges is to kind of pull all your energies together and act in your own interests. Problem is, as ever, you're being easily influenced and pushed around by all the interests of everyone else. Now, this is great if you're working with a team or working with a group. This is going to be a good time for success. But even still, the success is meant to be yours. So this is a time to be a little bit more selfish and focus on what's important to you and the goals, which are actually your goals. There might be some confusion or vagueness. Those things are going to come up. Don't let that put you off. It's a challenge to get through that and make things really happen, because this is the month where you actually need to make the momentum start happening so that the months that follow continue to bring in the good results that seem to be promised for you. It's like saying this is a really lucky time for Pisceans. If only you kind of get up and chase it. That's the bit that is required. Lots of help coming your way because everyone seems to be helping everyone in the zodiac this month, which can only be a good thing for you. Go for it, Pisces.